if you think you are teaching your kids, and how to help your kids avoid the mistakes that you've made in their future, that you made in your past. So, hi, welcome along another Keeping the Conversation Alive video. I'll just get rid of that. If you think you're teaching your kids so that they don't make the same mistakes and struggles as you do, and struggle with your thinking, struggle with your doubting, struggle with your weight, moving forward in life, all this stuff. Of course, we want our kids not to have those struggles. All the things we've learned, we can pass down on them so that they don't make the same mistakes, right? Or not. So this is an interesting one. So you can't teach healthy self-esteem. We don't sit down, I've said this many times, we don't sit down and say, oh, today I'm going to teach you about healthy self-esteem. So it's something you learn, infused into you from your childhood, from your parents, from your environment growing up. But you can't teach that healthy level of self-esteem, of self-worth, of how you view yourself, of your sensitivity to negative thinking about yourself, not about the world, but about yourself. When you look in the mirror, hello, it's there, all that stuff. You can't teach your kids to have a healthy level of all that stuff if you don't have it yourself. You can't teach somebody to drive a car if you can't bloody drive a car. That makes sense. That's intuitive, isn't it? So you can say, but it's very different. We don't learn from what we're told. We learn from what we see. We pick up your values, your culture, it is all infused in osmosis into you. From not sitting down and being, today, not having been taught it. This stuff is infused into us from our environment, and it comes in at an early age, even in the womb. All right, even in the womb. If you've heard me talk about that, Gabor Mate talks about that. There's surveys being shown about that. The scans and the science proving that stress in the for the mother in with the baby in the womb affects and alters the development of the brain in the baby in the womb, and the receptors in the brain for stress, and how then the child deals with stress and the environment of stress. So this stuff is well documented, it's well known. It's not well known, but it's well documented, it's scientifically proven, this stuff. So I find it fascinating. And that's not just around stress, but that affects the development, and our early environment affects the development of our brain. So literally the way our brain develops, and how we respond to certain different things, and of course that impacts how we live our lives, and that impacts the beliefs we have about ourselves. So this is all the stuff I'm talking about. So if you're on your path, and you've had your path, and you're at this point and you've got kids, of course you want to teach them how to be better probably than you are, in your thinking about yourself and your propensity to feel negatively about yourself. But you don't show that. You don't show that stuff. Maybe the previous partners, if you think about the previous partners you've had, where you've given away your power, where you've kind of wanted them to save you and help you, and they were the better part of you, or your current partner, if you look back at that stuff, does that tell you that you've given away your power, where you've felt less than them? You put them on a pedestal, whether if you think, oh yeah, we're a great partnership, I'm good at this, they're good at that. Are you in control of yourself? Do you have a healthy self-esteem? What we understand as self-esteem. When you look in your mirror, are you okay about yourself, what you see, or are you? That's a good. Are you like that? So you can't teach your kids healthy self-worth if you don't have it yourself. If you have it yourself, absolutely you can teach it to your kids. And isn't that what you want for them? Because this is the core, the foundation of their life. Big stuff. So you need to be able to infuse your kids with this stuff authentically, not by just giving it the talk, but not the walk, using that expression. So your actions absolutely speak louder than words, and they're learning through observing you. And I was just thinking before I came and pressed the record button, it was like, wow, what have my kids seen? Because I separated 3 times, 3 marriages, and I always wanted, the thing I wanted was to live with my baby. You know, the most, you know, to have my baby around all the time, and I don't have that. I have them a lot, and it's I know that my relationship with them has improved, but they've seen me heartbroken. They've seen me, you know, what's the word? You know, coming into a relationship or two, and feeling like the world has changed and everything's good, and then seeing it crash down. They've seen me struggle financially, and it's only really now, in this last year, that they've seen, I think, a real emergence of who their dad is. And the potential of their dad, and yet along that they've had a core of this loving person that is very caring and very, you know. However, I've always given away my power, and it's shocking to me to realise that, you know, shocking, because I profess to know about this stuff and I've worked on this for 13 plus years, and how come in only the last bit, a year and a half, that this is really, you know, it's tricky stuff, really tricky stuff, and I want to get that stuff across. That's why I'm being transparent in my struggles. So it's only now that they're seeing this emergence of confidence that I don't actually need somebody else to fix me. And that's not about, well, I guess in a way it's about being all right on your own, but it's not about being alone and being, you know, lonely in any regard or respect. It's about being whole. Now, you know, if you ever felt a little bit broken, a little bit damaged, a little bit not complete, a little bit, you know, not as good as everybody else, and a little bit not good enough, a little bit useless, a little bit, you know, all this stuff, you cannot teach your kids how to have that stuff and get rid of that stuff if you haven't got rid of it yourself. Does that make sense? So you need to grow your self-esteem, and it absolutely impacts, like Jake's 21 now. And it's a really exciting day today, I've got to share. He's working at Land Rover Range Rover, and they've just released the new Range Rover. Might bore you to death, but it's an exciting time. I'm excited. I've grown up with Range Rovers, had them in the past, and yeah, it's exciting back and forth with him, because he's been sitting outside, or there's been one at reception. He just said, we're texting back and forth, and it's really exciting. And he's saying, oh yeah, you know, not that exciting, because I've been sitting and seeing it in the reception, cloak and under the, I was going to say cloak and daggers, under the Secrecy Act, completely concealed and everything, and not open to the public views, embargoed and everything, until today. So that was exciting. So I'm sharing back and forth with him, and he's been watching it at reception for over a month, which is cool. So he's 21, but he will absolutely still benefit from my journey now. All right, even though he's got all that imprint of everything he's gone through with the breakup with his parents, and the, you know, the trials and tribulations that he's seen in both of his parents, he absolutely will benefit still from me, because we've got a very close relationship. You know, although he's independent, you know, he'll absolutely benefit from that. So don't think it's too late. That's the message I'm trying to give across. And my youngest is almost 3, you know, little Dolly Pops. She's almost 3, so absolutely she's going to benefit from that as well, as will Lulu and Freddie, not missing them out. So don't think it's too late, because it absolutely isn't. But it is bloody tricky to change this stuff, especially if you're as old as me. He says, fishing. Oh, you're not old, Will. Thanks. Cool. Just making me smile, not fishing for a compliment. So it's bloody tricky stuff. Even when I thought I got it, it's like, oh shit, slippery slope. Even when I thought I got it, it's like, no. And so there's different levels to it, and it's yeah, it can be quite painful. That's why, for me, I wanted to create the support and get the message out there. So, because so many people are going through this stuff. So my invitation to you is, if this is ringing true, if this is, yeah, I know this stuff, Will. If this is, yeah, you're talking to me, Will. If this is absolutely stuff that, you know, you've experienced, then, you know, find out if you do have healthy self-esteem. So I should put this thingy up, shouldn't I? You know, and the easy way for me is to take the test. It's a good indicator. It's not a solid, reliable cross-culture thing. It's a simple test, but for me, it's a good indicator of this propensity for negative thinking about yourself in here, the sensitivity to negative emotions in here, not about the world, not about other people, not about positivity, optimism, but in here about yourself. And that's the mirror test for me. You know. So, you know, what do you want for your kids? You know, Let me know. What do you want for your kids? If you've got kids, can you see these patterns in them? The one of three things. I wasn't going to go into this, but I think it's really useful. One of three things. Have they got healthy self-esteem, which is cool. Awesome. In which case you've done enough work, and or somebody else has. There's been a positive enough influence to get them having healthy self-esteem, even if you haven't or didn't in early life, or that they have low self-esteem like you, sorry, and they're in a similar place, and you'll be able to see that in them, hear that in them, or that they have such low self-esteem that, or perhaps under the influence of a narcissist around them, or maybe in your relationship, or maybe their other parent, is that they become abusers. And they've taken on an abusive role, a narcissistic role, which can be so difficult in a child. So that is one of the three places that they could be. So I'll just mention that. What do you want for your kids and their development? All right, many thanks. Hope that's interesting. Get in contact. Let me know. Keep the conversation going. I hope you're well. I hope you have an awesome day. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.